Welcome everyone to my Kingdom Hearts RE Chain of Memories guide. We're on the 3rd floor, and for this floor I choose the Monstro card. So why choose Monstro for this floor? A variety of reasons. Number one, it contains a ability called High Jump. This is a passive ability that Sora will pick up and automatically equip when you get to a point in the stage, and he'll keep it for the rest of the game. It's useful both in and out of battle, both exploring and to attack enemies high up, so I usually like to get it around this point. Its fire raid ability from the treasure chest is similar to Blizzard Raid, and if you're going to be building a fire-based deck, it's a useful ability to have. Third reason, and this one's a biggie, the last room does not contain your average boss. Rather, it's just a whole bunch of shadow heartless attacking, but you've got to fill this gauge up quickly. The more you attack the enemies, the gauge goes up. When you don't attack the enemies, the gauge goes down. The higher the floor number you are at, the harder it is to fill that gauge. So I prefer to do this one early on just because it's easier to fill that gauge, and you don't need a lot of slides to do it. Just make sure you're picking up Simba cards, because you're going to need them. As far as enemies and obstacles go, watch out, there's a new type of heartless here in these long-armed helicopter-looking heartless here. They're not too hard to beat. To tell you the truth, I usually have a harder time with the fat bandits than with them. But like I said, watch out, they can use cards up to number 6 normal, so just make sure you don't have too many low cards that you're trying to battle with them, because you will get card breaks against you. I should also mention these clocks right here, that if you strike them when an enemy is around, you will stop that enemy and inflict stop if you choose to go into battle with them. It's kind of handy. Another thing I should mention in this stage is some of the larger rooms will have little pump things that will spit acid out at Sora when he's not in combat. These will do damage to your health if hit. That said, you can swing your Keyblade at him, destroy him, and pick up health orb. I have already gone over this before, but your calm bounty reward for this stage is called Fire Raid. It's 1 fire card with 2 Keyblade cards. It causes Sora to throw his Keyblade with a fire-based attack to it. Kinda handy if you're building a fire-based deck. That said, at this point you probably have more Blizzard cards in your backlog, and might want to stick to Blizzard Raid for the time being. But as the game progresses, you will find more uses for fire cards, so keep that in mind. Alright, it's time to fight what is called the Parasite Cage. Now this is one of the trickier bosses in the early parts of the game. You can't stand on that green stuff, it causes damage. The good news is with high jump you can whack the Parasite Cage, and he usually drops lots of friend cards plus even HP orbs occasionally. So just jump and do your best to avoid them, and then whack them with your key cards if possible. Cloud can be useful too if you can get up close like I just did and smack them with it. Be on the lookout for those green hidden Mickey cards. They're very valuable. The hidden Mickey card this time will cause the whole acid to shrink away and allow you to have easy access to the boss and just wail on him for a while. But the acid will soon come back, so time your hits. But if you wail on him enough, you might get some HP orbs on top of that. Also, make sure you're healing yourself as well, because that acid will do damage. And on occasion, if you don't get a hidden Mickey card, sometimes the platforms will shrink even further, making it harder to get around. This is one of the tougher bosses in the game. Don't feel too bad if you end up getting killed. Your reward for winning is a card known as Parasite Cage. Now, I do recommend putting Parasite Cage in your deck after you're done with all the Disney worlds. You will need them in your Organization 13 fights. Basically, what Parasite Cage does is it stops an enemy from using their ability cards. So, say you're fighting against Vexen, a notoriously tough Organization 13 member who can use an ability called Auto Life. Auto Life brings you back from the dead. You can use Parasite Cage here to block that ability. So he becomes extremely useful later in the game. Right now, though, I don't recommend using CP on him. Rather, just remember that he's there and go on with the game. You're going to need all the CP you can get for Simba cards as well as any spell cards, because your next fight is tough. Anyways, before you go to the final area, find a room and turn it into a Moogle room with a Moogle room card. If you don't have one of these, use a roulette room card to try to win one. If you haven't gotten a roulette room card yet, then perhaps you should probably grind for more room cards and EXP. Anyways, once you get a Moogle room card, use it on a room to turn it into a Moogle shop and purchase a few booster packs. You'll get a free attack card, which is the red ones anyways, just for entering the room. Then you can purchase other cards in this window you see here. Reds are attack cards, blue are magic, greens are items, and then those rainbow decks contain any type of card, pretty much. I suggest trying to get a Simba card if you can from this room. You're going to need it in the next battle. Fire and blizzard cards also are useful. Alright, in this final battle of sorts, you just take on a whole bunch of shadows. You have a limited amount of time to fill that bar. Here's the thing, if you're not attacking though, that bar goes down, which is a real pain when you have to refill your cards. Cards like Cloud here and Simba will do a lot of damage to a wide range of shadows, so keep them in your deck. Fire can also nuke one or two out of the way as well, which is useful if you're trying to get back on your feet after reloading your cards. So keep those at mind. On easy and at this floor, it should be pretty easy to fill that number. Like I said, having one or two Simba cards in your deck is vital. If you can have 3, that's great. But once you get those cards full, or the meter full, you will pick up a Dumbo card. Dumbo's not that great of a summons card. I don't put him in my deck, and I can't think of many slights that he's also used to. He basically just flies around and sprays water. So this is one of those cases where it stank in the original and he stinks in this one. Don't put him in your deck, and I don't see any use for him. Anyways, after you fill up that bar and get the Dumbo card, you'll be treated to a cutscene, and then you'll land in Conqueror's Respite. Just climb the ladder and go to the next floor, and I'll continue on with my guide there. Thank you for watching this part of the guide. If you want more, click subscribe or click next on the playlist. Thank you for watching.